Hey, you're here already. Who let you in? Canada's Secret Police? Hello, my name is David Sullivan Nesbitt. I'm the creator and founder of Where's My Canada. So I'd like to welcome you to the first Fireside Chat with Where's My Canada. You might be wondering where I got the name. It was from American President Roosevelt. During the Depression and in the 30s, he used to have over the radio fireside chats with Americans. And you might remember he was famously known for his one quotation, "There is nothing to fear but fear itself." He acquired polio from drinking bad water when he was either a child or a teen. He spent most of his adult life in a wheelchair. And he became president of the United States, as we know. And he ruled that country and inspired it. He inspired a great country and a great people onto victory. And he was in a wheelchair the whole time. I look up to him, and so in the spirit of Roosevelt, let's start our first fireside chat. Okay, so this is a view from my place when you come through the front door. You can see my bed. So we'll just have a quick look around, and I've got my own sink and TV and a fridge and dresser, and this is the view from the window. It's a winter day today, so it just snowed, but it's kind of nice. It's a quiet alleyway and it's really peaceful. The place I lived in once just had an alleyway going out to a fire escape, and it was dark and it was just an awful place. And here's my bed and my dresser, and that's it. And if you look over here, you can see where the front door is, and my computer and my desk. My desk, by the way, if you look very, very closely, is an ironing board. Isn't that great? This is my personal shower. And when you're homeless, one of the things I hated the most was never being clean. I always felt like I was never clean enough. So what I want to do is update you on a few things quickly. Over the last couple of months, some things have happened that are scary. The first was I released a document called Crimes Against Humanity by Canada's Secret Police. Which documented proof that they do exist, that I've been harassed for months on end, and that there are Canadians that have been targeted by the secret police and threatened that if they have any contact with me, they will be imprisoned, or their children will be taken away, or they'll lose their jobs. There are now over 40 Canadians that, and their families, that are in this predicament. We are not allowed to speak to each other anymore. We're not allowed to assemble. We're not allowed to any free speech. So basically, our constitutional rights are being violated. There's over 40 at least that are in this situation. It's serious. The Constitution itself is being completely trashed, and at this point in time, there are no rights. So the country is in a constitutional crisis. I released a book that talked about this, and the third draft I issued in early December, and I started tweeting MPs in Ottawa around the 12th of December. I finished around 6 o'clock in the morning on December the 15th, I believe, and 6 hours later the Toronto police were at my house to arrest me for allegedly criminally harassing CIBC employees 8 months earlier. So I was put in prison again for the fourth time, wrongfully, and I was approved for bail the very next day by the Toronto Bail Court, but for whatever reason I was in jail for a whole week. I was released finally on December 22nd, just 3 days before Christmas. So that is shocking. That is shocking that CIBC sent an innocent man who is homeless and has a mental health illness to prison because I spoke out about attempts by one of its executives to basically drive me to the edge. They've stolen over $3,000 from me, which they will not pay back, and now they're pursuing criminal charges against me. I have no money, I have no resources, I have been put through the mill, and this multi-billion-dollar Canadian bank is now basically raping and pillaging me. So that's one event. The second one is that about 2 weeks ago, Toronto Police sent a plant to my house to install surveillance equipment, which I found in some speakers, and to install equipment, I imagine it's auditory equipment, sensor equipment in the bathrooms, both bathrooms on this floor. And there was a repeated attempt, and I've documented this, to break hotel curfew and stay overnight. He had a female partner with him, and next door there was a couple that moved in, a really rowdy couple, and they moved in about a week before, and they always had their door ajar, 24/7. The interesting thing is I let this man's female companion in a bathroom one night, and the second night that they were here, he asked to go to the bathroom, and I went to the closest one near my hotel room, and it was locked. It was occupied by a woman. And the reason that stands out is because 90% of the people who are renting in this boarding house are men. So a woman would automatically stand out. I recognized from her voice she was the next door neighbor. Interesting enough, I then had to walk to the second bathroom and unlock the door and let Jason, who was the man, in that bathroom. The interesting thing is, both nights, both of them did not want to have any toilet paper. Now that's interesting. You go to the bathroom and you don't want toilet paper. Both of them. What a coincidence. But that shows that there's been attempts at 24-hour surveillance. It shows that there are attempts either, who knows what was planned that night. Why would you break curfew? It was either another criminal harassment charge, it could have been assault, could have been rape, could have been murder. I caught it. And the third thing I want to talk about is I went to my MP's office this past 2 weeks ago, Adam Vaughan. The office was totally clear. There was nobody in the office except a brand new woman. There were no computers on. It was dead silent. It was clear that the office was being staged, and the person I was dealing with had nothing to do with Adam Vaughan's office. I was told that Michelle, the woman who I did work with at that office, she had been transferred to one of Adam Vaughan's other offices and was now working on policy. Well, most MPs do not have a big enough budget that they would have an Ottawa office for certain and one constituency office. Very few that I know have two constituency offices, so I knew something was up. I sent an email the next day asking what Michelle's business office and business phone number were so I could contact her, and I was declined, flat out. I think as a Canadian citizen I have every right to ask for the phone number and address, business phone number and business address of someone who is working in my MP's office. There is nothing unusual about that. I also got an email, I noticed today, from Carolyn Bennett's office. They were the office that were instrumental to me when CIBC drove me over the edge in May. There's a woman there named Anna. She has suddenly disappeared as well, which is very perplexing. What I get out of this is that there are serious efforts being made to restrict my access to anyone. And it's clear the purpose of this, if all these Canadians are being violated and are out of the picture, over 40 of them, if my cell phones are being tapped, my tweets are being intercepted, my emails are being blocked, I am being isolated like a rat. And the purpose is to make me so heavily compromised that I die, or to minimize any contact so that popping me in jail for the rest of my life is no big deal. This is what is going on. We need to get our heads around this really quickly. I am not misinterpreting anything. I went to, just so you know my background, I went to Western Business School in London, Ontario. I went through university on scholarship. I finished off at the top quartile of my class, and I worked in corporate finance on Bay Street and Wall Street. So, and I am being silenced in any way possible to keep quiet about what Bell Let's Talk has been doing for the past couple of years. I acquired PTSD. I went back to Bell after 6 months on disability. I'd worked for them for 10 years and they fired me after 2 weeks. I still have not received any severance or any medical benefits, and they have made every attempt to silence me, and I mean that in every single way. There are criminal acts that have been undertaken, and that's why there is such a concerted effort to shut me up.